Well, first, I think it's because that they wanted to collect the information that I was on the front line in protest when I was, in the midst of the anti-extradition bill protest in Hong Kong. And also I work for the British consulate, and I've been instructed to collect information about the protest. So that's the way they wanted to get the information, and also they wanted to blame me, and also to prove, so-called prove, that the UK instigates the protest.
But I'm already a little puzzled, and I'm thinking, if I were in the position of a Chinese official looking at you, I would be somewhat concerned about your role, because your official title was involved in trade and business missions from the UK consulate in Hong Kong. But in fact, you've just told me you were instructed by your diplomatic masters to observe and report upon the democracy demonstrations, which of course were very large last summer in Hong Kong. So were you some sort of a undercover spy?
Not exactly undercover spy. I mean, I was on the front line. I mean, when I was being...
But you were on the front line to report back to your masters in
I was on the
Britain.
front line because that I personally support the pro-democracy movement, and I only joined the legal rally. But meanwhile, I was instructed by the consulate that I need to collect information that amounts those news channels.
Right, but just to be clear, because of this notion that you were in some way spying, you did not declare who you were to either your pro-democracy colleagues on the front line or to any police or authorities that might have tried to intervene. You were there ostensibly as a private Hong Kong citizen, but in fact you were there working for the British government. Isn't that a slightly odd conflict of interest?
Indeed, that is slightly odd, but it also because
you were a spy, Mr. Cheng.
I mean, I have a dual identities. Once that's the job that I work for the consulate, that's nothing relevant to politics. But meanwhile, I'm a Hong Kong citizen. That's a clear guideline that the consulate saying that as you are Hong Kong citizens, you have your own rights. You're free to join the legal rallies in Hong Kong.
When the British first asked you to report back, to give them information on what you were learning about the pro-democracy demonstrations, did you at any point pause for thought and think, this could get me into trouble?
At that time, no.
No regrets at all? Because you could have handled things very differently. You could have refused to do what the British government wanted you to do, refused to report for the government, the British government, on the pro-democracy demonstrations. And I'm just wondering, sitting here with you, whether you don't have some regrets about your decisions?
No, not at all. I'm very determined that I do believe at that time I collect those informations for the better goods